Given f of x and g of x, simplify f divided by g of x and determine the restrictions. Now f divided by g of x can be written f of x divided by g of x. So we replace the algebraic fraction equivalent for both of these and then simplify. And so here we have f of x divided by g of x. Now we know dividing by a fraction is equivalent to multiplying by its reciprocal. And so we can write f of x times x plus 5 divided by 6x squared plus 13x minus 5. Now at this point we'll factor the denominators of both of these algebraic fractions. And so for the first one we'll factor 3x squared, we'll use 3x and x. Factoring 5 is 1 times 5. If we place the 5 here and the 1 there, we'll get a 15x and a 1x, which adds up to 14x if the 5 is positive and the 1 is negative. Negative 1 times 5 is negative 5. That looks good. To factor 6x squared, we'll use 3x and 2x. And we have a couple choices here using 1 times 5 to get a 13x for our middle term. We'll place the 5 here and the 1 there. That'll give us a 15x and a 2x. In this case, the 5 should be positive and the 1 should be negative. Negative 1 times positive 5 is negative 5. That looks good. Now that we have our algebraic fractions factored, we can then cancel common factors. But before we do that, let's find the restrictions. Now the restrictions are the values that are going to evaluate to 0 in the denominator. Now we'll find those values throughout the entire problem. And so we see here the factor x plus 5 will be a restriction, or will produce a restriction when that's equal to 0. In this case, x equals negative 5 is a restriction. And we can see that factor down here as well. Now, for this first algebraic fraction in its factored form, we can see the factor 3x minus 1 will be a problem if that's equal to 0. And so 3x equals 1 or x equals 1/3 is a restriction. Now we already have x equals negative 5. We already have x equals 1/3. Now let's look at the factor 2x plus 5. That'll be a problem if that's equal to 0. In other words, 2x equals negative 5 or x equals negative 5/2 is a restriction. So this problem has two restrictions to the domain. F divided by g actually has 3 restrictions to the domain. With that, we're ready to then cancel. So dividing out the factor x plus 5 and then dividing out the factor 2x plus 5, remembering that there's always a factor of 1, we're left with 1 over 3x minus 1 squared. And of course, that's where x is not equal to negative 5, negative 5/2, or 1/3.